a center of industry, and home for nearly 1 million people. Today, Stuttgart extends its hand in friendship, serving as host for the World Gymnastics Championships. Hi, everyone. I'm Mike Adamley, and working with us, our gymnastics star, Kathy Rigby-McCoy. And today, the women's all-around title is on the line. And Kathy, like so many times, it seems the champion should come from either the Soviet Union or Romania.
And I think Romania's Daniela Silivas is especially hungry for this title. She's come so close to this world and Olympic gold, and each time it has eluded her. At the '88 Olympics, she took second to Soviet gymnast Elena Shushinova in one of the greatest all-around battles in gymnastic history. At the European Championships this spring, she met with the same fate. In the final event, Svetlana Boginskaya, her rival today, scored a perfect 10 to take it away again.
There is also a very strong American presence here in Stuttgart, that presence led by the dynamic Brandy Johnson.
And Brandy has won every meet since the Seoul Olympics. She's currently ranked 4th in the world, and today will be a great opportunity to cement her reputation.
Well, also working with us, the newest member of ABC Sports broadcasting team, Olympic gymnastics champion in 1984, Bart Connor. And there's another interesting story here in Stuttgart that's developing, Bart, and perhaps you can explain that.
Well, there's a controversial new rule this year, which is making the competition very exciting, certainly, but at the same time, it's totally at the expense of the world's best gymnasts. Under the new rules, no scores carry over from the preliminary rounds, which means that a gymnast who had a terrific lead coming into this session, that lead gets wiped out. On the other hand, it's a terrific advantage for someone like Brandy Johnson. She had a rough time in the preliminaries. Under the new rules, she has as good a chance of winning a medal as anyone.
And the gymnasts assembled here in West Germany, so close in talent that the title may be decided by hundredths of a point.
Now, the women, of course, compete in 4 different events, and the all-around title will go to the gymnast with the highest combined score.
This is 16-year-old Svetlana Boginskaya of the Soviet Union in the uneven bars.
And those long arms and legs you would think would be a detriment, but she really swings well, high on her release moves, and really uses her height to an advantage. She just streamlines everything. Coming up is one of the most difficult dismounts in the competition. Full in, double back, great exercise.
Well, Kathy, as you mentioned, those long lines certainly are very beautiful on the bars. Look at the position on this straddled toe on, toe off. Now, here comes the full twisting double. It's a double backflip with a full twist in the middle, and she pulls it all the way around.
And Boginskaya, like she has so many times before, sets a very high standard for others to shoot for. Her score, 9.95. Next up, America's Brandy Johnson competing in the vault in the all-around competition. Each gymnast is given 2 vaults, but they only score the best one. Brandy had a 9.9 in her first vault.
And a great place to begin since it is one of her best events.
Brandy was 5th in this event at the Olympic Games in Seoul, Korea, and she picks up where she left off, getting a helping hand from her coach, Kevin Brown.
The trickiest part of this vault is keeping good form, as Brandy does, and look at the height and the position in the air.
And for Brandy, the second time is the charm in the vault. Not perfection in the eyes of the judges, but pretty close, 9.937. My brother. The games in 1988, Seoul, Korea, where Silivas and Elena Shushinova of the Soviet Union engaged in perhaps one of the great all-around battles in Olympic history. Now, Silivas held a slim lead entering the last rotation, but after scoring a 9.95 in her vault, it was out of her hands. Shushinova, well, she scored a perfect 10 to claim the gold medal by the slimmest of margins. And Daniela, well, she could only look on in dismay. Shushinova has since retired, so here at the World Championships, Daniela is at center stage again, hoping to win that all-around title that has eluded her.
And even though Daniela has had trouble in the all-around, she is past world and Olympic champion on the floor exercise. Wonderful combination tumbling run there. Now the judges are placing much more emphasis on dance and rhythm. They want the gymnast to maintain that artistry while still performing all those difficult moves.
became interested in gymnastics when she was 6 years old, watching who else? Nadia Comaneci.
And Daniela will need to muster up an awful lot of strength for this double back tumbling run. A little overturned, but the judges won't take off much. And she should be happy with that exercise.
This is a terrific dismount for Silly Vosh. It's a tuck double back, tremendous reach. Now keep in mind, this is her first event of 4. She seems to have a little more energy than she planned for.
And judging by the smile on her face, she is off to a very good start. She's waiting for a score, and there it is, 9.975. Next up from the United States, 17-year-old Sandy Woolsey in the vault.
And Sandy's really been the Cinderella story of these World Championships. She has performed beyond everyone's expectations, and that landing shows you just how solid she's been. She has only competed 3 other times in international competition.
And this Yurchenko vault was terrific. A round off onto the board. Notice the position in the air. And look at her spot that landing. Boom.
Sandy making a statement for the American team. Hey, we've got more guns than just Brandy Johnson, and her score, 9.95. This is Gabriela Podorac of Romania, 16 years old, on the balance beam.
And the balance beam consistently remains the Achilles heel for so many gymnasts, but as Olympic bronze medalist, Gabrielle's confidence level should be higher than most. That's her first event. Has tremendous difficulty, and most of all, is combined with this elegant dance and flexibility. Now here's an impressive move. Watch this. Handstand. 1, 2, 2 3/4 times around. You wonder if she's dizzy when she comes up. Of course, the judges are placing more emphasis on dance on the balance beam as well as the floor exercise. You'll notice her rhythm is very good, too. She's aggressive and moves with quite a bit of freedom, and here's her dismount. You're really focusing at this point. You don't get much better than that.
Gabriela Podorac of Romania, you mentioned she won a bronze medal at the Olympic Games in this event. She tied American Phoebe Mills.
And this is a very difficult dismount combination. 3 elements back to back to back.
And for the moment here in the first rotation, Gabriela Podorac takes the lead, 9.987. This is Christina Bontes. Talk about depth. She, too, another star for Romania.
And watch this opening tumbling run, a double layout, the most difficult move on the floor exercise. You're in for a real treat. She is a ball of energy on this event. Another incredibly impressive tumbling run. Oh. So tough to do all of that and then change directions. And here's her last tumbling run. An extraordinary power coming from those tiny legs.
What an exciting tumbler, Kathy. You know, we talked about the fact that the judges are requiring a higher level of dance at this competition. Therefore, I think some of the tumbling level is down. But not from this young lady. Look at this tuck double back, and this comes at the end of a very difficult combination.
And there it is, a perfect 10. The only one recorded here in the first rotation, and this coming from a young lady who is just 15 years old, stands only 4 feet 6 inches tall, and weighs just 68 pounds. So perhaps the Romanians have another star on their horizon. What they do have is a stranglehold on the top 3 places after the first rotation. Sandy Woolsey of the USA is 5th, Brandy Johnson 7th.
Her vault is very good, but she doesn't seem to have the explosive power of the Boganskaya or Brandy Johnson. She's clean, but she just can't seem to get the height to give her the 10 she wants.
And waiting in the wings is Brandy Johnson in 7th place after the first rotation. After spending 6 months away from home to train with Bella Caroli in Houston, Texas before the Olympics, Brandy is back home again in Florida, and our Donna De Verona had a chance to visit with her.
On the day of Brandy's birth, Mrs. Johnson just knew she had a special child. How many newborns simply roll over on the first day of life? So it was predictable that at 4 years of age, Brandy took up the sport of gymnastics. By the age of 15, she had made the Olympic team and had captured the all-around title at the USA-Soviet dual meet to rank her 3rd in the world, the highest ever for an American female gymnast. And her family's been there every step of the way.
Without my family, I wouldn't be where I am right now. Just the support I've had through the years. I had to move my family to Orlando so I could train. To Houston, I've moved my family all over the place, and I'm very grateful for them to be behind me 100%. If they weren't behind me, I wouldn't be where I am right now.
Settled now in Altamont Springs, Florida at Kevin Brown's gym, Brandy's training regimen is so intense and the local public school schedule so inflexible that Brandy has chosen not to go to high school. Instead, she's taking correspondence courses. It's a solitary life with a lot of self-imposed discipline. Brandy's mom, Kathy, helps ease the burden.
Brandy and I go shopping to relieve pressure. That's one of our most favorite things to do.
No.
Mainly, our tension's released in the malls.
No pressure can be too big, I think. You just have to work through it, and I have my mom there to help me. She talks to me. And just to be the best is what I put the pressure on myself. It's not what the media puts on you or anything like that. The media will handle itself. I just put the pressure on myself to be the best I can.
For years, home has been where the coach and gym are. Now that Brandy is committed to Brown's Gymnastics, her father is building them a long-awaited dream house. Admittedly fearful about watching his daughter compete, Jerry still thinks gymnastics has been good for the family.
I think it's made us a better, stronger family, and we would all do it again if we had to.
I'm very proud of Brandy and all the titles and everything that goes along with it. And I don't look at her as, of course she's special because she's mine, but that's why she's special.
With coach, home, and family finally in place, it's a solid foundation for the next 2 years and hopes of Barcelona Olympic gold.
Brandy Johnson, she's come a long way since she was 6 years old and a member of the Tallahassee Tumbling Tot.
And I'm sure Brandy's putting a lot of pressure on herself to perform well here since she did fall in the preliminary competition on this event.
Incidentally, Daniela Silovash recorded a 9.925 in the vault.
The tendency when you have fallen in a preliminary competition is to hold back so it doesn't happen again, but you can't do that, otherwise your timing is off. Obviously, she didn't succumb to the nerves. Great routine.
Die Christina Bontas aus Rumänien mit ihrem zweiten Sprung.
A hug from Kevin Brown and one from Sandy Woolsey.
Brandy is really at her best when she's very aggressive. After that giant full turn, watch the landing position on this tuck double. She has perfect form, and she lands straight up and down.
And a score of 9.925 for Brandy Johnson. On deck from the Soviet Union, Olga Strasheva. She was 4th after the first rotation. She's competing in her first World Championships, but she was 3rd in the all-around in the European Championships last year in Brussels.
And Olga's really a powerful gymnast, but she's had her share of injuries, and if any event will test the body, it's vault.
That was a very clean vault, but Kathy, as you mentioned, watch the position on the landing. Her right foot shoots out. She's obviously favoring that ankle.
And despite the minor flaw, Olga receives a mark of 9.962. This is Svetlana Boginskaya on the balance beam.
And she really starts out with a bang. It's a very gutsy move to begin with a front flip. You're telling the judges, here I am.
Kathy, away from the gym, Svetlana is very quiet, very reserved, but when she competes, she has an abundance of tenacity and inner drive.
Well, some say that drive stems from a personal tragedy that took place 3 days after the Seoul Olympics when her coach suddenly died under mysterious circumstances.
Soviet officials have refused to comment, but insiders say the death was a suicide. In any event, the loss of her coach has had a tremendous impact on Svetlana.
So light on her feet. Here's her dismount. Double back, perfect landing.
And now perhaps Svetlana can finally relax and let go a smile.
Now, this is the pass where she had trouble in the preliminaries and fell off. If you can believe, she's actually playing it safe when she under-rotates the second layout back. One slight bobble, but no fall.
Boginskaya was tied for fifth after the first rotation, but that mark of 9.95 will move her up. So after two rotations, Olga Strashova with the lead. Svetlana Boginskaya is now tied for second. And we'll return later with more of the World Gymnastics Championships.
Today, from Kitzbühel, Austria, the famed Hahnenkamm downhill.
Brandy Johnson is sixth. Next up in the vault, 16-year-old Wendy Bruce from the USA.
And Wendy has surprised many with her consistent performances here. She trains with Brandy Johnson, and it's always better to train with someone who is at least your equal. It gives you that competitive edge.
Watch what Wendy does on the landing of this vault. Her right foot slides behind her left foot, trying to camouflage the fact that it wasn't quite a perfect landing. Good technique.
Wendy's score, 9.912. Next up, Brandy Johnson, a gymnast who leaves nothing to chance.
Well, I have a lucky $2 bill that I take everywhere with me. Well, it's in my gym bag. It goes to the gym with me. And now I have a lucky coin from France, and I have one from Germany, too. It's usually my birthday that I keep with me.
Are you superstitious?
Yes.
Talent and hard work are important, but it doesn't hurt to have a few good luck charms. This is Brandy on the balance beam.
And this was also an event where Brandy had some problem in the preliminary. She begins with a relatively simple mount. But she looks as if she's working with confidence already. Great height on her leaps. In fact, she gets some of the best elevation in the competition on all her moves.
Brandy was in sixth place after the second rotation.
One of the requirements for the gymnast on the balance beam is a dance acrobatic combination. Now, most do relatively simple moves to fulfill this requirement. Brandy does this full turn right into a gainer layout, and she does it very well.
Kathy, what about the difficulty in this routine?
Well, I think you'll get an example of it right here. Watch this front flip. Brandy has a difficulty plus some. Whoops. You see that so often. The gymnast makes the most difficult moves, and then they slip up on the relatively simple ones. Little hop there on the dismount, but a good exercise.
Now it'll be interesting to see how the judges view that minor flaw.
It's too bad she had a couple of little bobbles, because watch this pass. Back handspring layout, and look at how high she lands that layout. That's power.
Brandy's score, 9.887, and temporarily she has moved into third place. But remember, The big guns are still to come. Daniela Silovac of Romania and this woman, Svetlana Boginskaya. Now let's go back to last year, the European Championships. In the final rotation, Svetlana needed a perfect 10 in the floor exercise to win the all-around title. And with a flawless performance, that's exactly what she got, winning the first major all-around title of her career and beating Daniela Silovac by the narrowest of margins. And now Svetlana has her eyes set on a world title in the floor exercise.
And interestingly enough, this has been somewhat of a controversial routine. Some of the judges feel it's too avant-garde. But of course, as in the European Championship, her risk was well taken when she scored a perfect 10. As usual, the Soviets are the trendsetters. They really focus on the drama and the total presentation. And what's so nice is her transitions from one movement to another are so good. What drama.
I'd say that was fairly sensational. Svetlana Boginskaya of the Soviet Union.
You know where she really gets her maximum points is from showing perfect technique. Although this isn't the most difficult run, this double full is done perfectly.
And there, she's done it again. A perfect 10 at the European Championships and a perfect 10 here at the World Championships in the floor exercise. And deja vu for Daniela Silovac. She'll need a perfect 10 to match Svetlana. But this is Natalia Lashenova of the Soviet Union in the vault, currently tied for 6th place with Brandy Johnson after 2 rotations.
What makes this vault so terrific is watch how she thrusts her arms to the side when she's completed it, just to show off how easy it is for her to do.
And Natalia says, anything you can do, Svetlana, I can do just as well. Different apparatus, but same result, a perfect 10. And now it's Daniela's turn on the uneven bar.
And she must stay in the hunt with Boginskaya. She's very capable of 10s on this event. This is one of her best events. In fact, she's the gold medalist from the Olympics. Good straight arms, right to a handstand. Here's her dismount. Slight break in the legs there, but all in all, a very good exercise.
Now, although Daniela doesn't do the most outrageous release move, where she gets her points is from this combination here. Stalled her pirouette, right to the Delchev. Great combination work.
Remember, Daniela needed a perfect 10 to tie Boginskaya for first, and you can hear the whistles, which are the equivalent of boos here in Europe. 9.975 was her mark. So after 3 rotations, Boginskaya the leader, Silovac is second, Lashenova is third, Brandy Johnson of the U.S. is in 7th. Here in Stuttgart, there's a Porsche factory as well. Inside, engineers and assembly line workers take great pains to turn out what they consider to be works of art. Sleek, fast, precision driving machines. And if ever there was a time for Brandy Johnson to make her move, it is now here in the floor exercise. She was 7th after 3 rotations. She would dearly love to become a medalist here at these World Championships.
This exercise really seems to fit her personality. It's bright, it's determined. Her choreography seems so fresh and spontaneous. Rotates just slightly, but really steps out of it well and covers it up. We talk about Bogunskaya being a trendsetter with her choreography. I think that Brandy does an excellent job of relating to the audience and the judges with her dance.
In a dual meet with the Soviet Union last year in Columbus, Ohio, Brandy won the all-around title, and she won the floor exercise.
You know, you really have to wow the judges to get a 10, and while Brandy's exercise was very clean and well choreographed, she just doesn't have that exceptional drama that we saw with Bogunskaya.
Once again, the thing that allows Brandy Johnson to score well is her power and her explosive tumbling. This is a full twisting double back, piked position, minor form break, but done easily.
The mark, 9.825. Kathy, a little low?
Well, it seems low, but the judges must have seen something we didn't.
Svetlana Bogunskaya is next in the vault, and it's this simple, a perfect 10, and she is the all-around champion.
Once again, this is the Yurchenko vault invented by her teammate, Natalia Yurchenko. Look at the form in the air. That's your winner.
Well, she won the gold medal in Seoul, Korea in the Olympic Games, and there it is, another 10 for Svetlana Bogunskaya. She is the all-around champion.